All right, here we go. Today we are going to do something a little bit different. What we did last time was, so let me get something set up so I can do some monitors. Yeah, here we go. All right, welcome to Giant Robot Therapy Hour. Here's something a little bit different. We've been doing, here's my hands. We've been doing Battletech recently, and today we're going to change things up, and we are going to do, this guy. Yeah, we're going to do some Bandai model kits. I've got this particular model kind of close to done, but still some work to do on it, so we are going to try to get some portion of it done. There's all the runners. And there we go. So what is this thing here? Sorry, what is this? Is excuse my mess. All right, get that in the shot. There we go. All right, and this is an RG kit. RG. So that's what we're doing. Let's just kind of go over what we got so far. So I've got the body done, or not the body. I've got the legs done. Here they are. Stands up. Very nice. Put those guys back. We've got this guy's shield finished. Front, back. And we can set that to the side so we'll show it off a little bit. Here's the backpack. Right there. Set that off to the side. Got some shoulder pads. So we're going to go onto the torso once I've got some arms ready to go. There we go. And there's a head. Move him up. There's the head. You can go off to the side. And a couple of weapons. Got a gun, it's got some kind of underbarrel grenade launcher type thing, and it's got a little beam saber. Pretty basic stuff for as far as Gundam kits go, but here's the piece we're working on today. So here's what we're trying to accomplish. The torso, the chest part is what we're going after today. But before we do that, we're gonna talk a little bit. I'm just gonna show you, if I can, the shield. So this is an RG kit. RG stands for real grade, and it means it's basically got the same sort of, how do you say it, the same sort of like functional characteristics as a much larger robot, but in a smaller form factor. So the grades go, there, see, the shields open up, goes into, might even slide open a little bit. I don't remember. Let's see if I can do that without breaking anything. Mostly they do. There we go. See, this guy cracks open, so it opens up. The whole kit does this. The whole kit has these little yellow parts behind it, and it all can crack open and become. It goes into what they call destroy mode. But anyways, so there's the lowest grade kits, or functionally the lowest grade kits, are called HG. It stands for high grade. So the worst kit you can get is called high grade. That's marketing for you. And those high grade kits are 1/144th scale. So if you stacked 144 of those guys up on top of each other, they'd be as tall as a Gundam is actually supposed to be. So they're 1/144th. And the next step up is MG, which stands for Master Grade. They're 1/100th scale. The next step up from that is PG. It's 1/60th scale. That's basically how the grading goes. But this is an RG. This is a real grade. So normally with HG to MG to PG, the kits get bigger and bigger and bigger, which means they get more and more sort of doodads that go along with them. And those doodads do different things like open up or lock in place or have like a little action associated with them, or like little transforming action, that stuff like that. HGs are usually pretty simple because they're the smallest, cheapest grade. Then MGs get a little more stuff in them, and PGs get a lot more stuff in them. But the thing with RG is RG basically takes the sort of functionality and gimmickiness of the MG kits and puts it into a smaller scale. So this RG kit is 1/144th, but it basically has the same, not customizability, the same gimmicky articulation and that sort of thing that an MG kit would. And so, like I told you, we've got a bunch of that already built. We are going to get some more built. So we want to try to finish out this chest. And if we can finish out this chest, then we'll have the arms left to do. And then this whole kit will be done. Well, the whole kit will be assembled, I should say. It's not done until you paint and sticker and decal and all kinds of other stuff. But we'll get the chest done, and then we will be able to mostly assemble the rest of it. Here are the instructions. That's what they look like. We've built this piece right here, and we're going to work on building the right side that matches up to it. Here's what sticker sheets look like. I think this is, I think these are all stickers, although maybe some of them are decals. Whatever. We are going to, all right, so let's get going with this. Set this guy up here. I don't need the blue tack. And so we are looking for part A119 and E118. A119. Let's see. Here it is, this little guy right here. So of course, with greater articulation and gimmickiness, that's what they call them. They call them gimmicks. Greater articulation and gimmickiness, that means you end up with also very small parts. The HG kits tend to be, hit that with my head, the HG kits tend to be fairly reasonable. In fact, let's just clip them all out. So I need A1, 19, 22, 24. As long as I've got this thing out, I might as well clip all the parts off. 19, 24, and 22. Here we go. Then we need E118. So all of these runners have C, D. My runners are out of order. There we go. E18. This guy. And also F4. G. Let me just pull all these guys out. Get my space set up a little better. And B, C, D, E, G. So it means F is in here somewhere. Let me guess. F is this. F. So we're looking for F4. There we go. So a guy right here. So if you notice, when I clip this, all right, I'm not clipping next to the part. I'm clipping up a little bit. That will clean the extra bits off later. So if you see that there, It's got some extra bits like right here and right here. Those are still parts of the sprue. The act of clipping stresses the part a little bit and changes the color. It can change the color, and so one of the things we do is clip away from that and then go back in very carefully and clip the rest of the part out. So you can see we've got these. If I put it on the white sheet, you should be able to see that a little better. This little bit hanging off the end. So, pip. Right. Good. This one has a little bit more. Right. See that little bit there. And a little triangle hanging off there. So we're trying to clip those off. Clean up the big parts like that. There. And now all these pieces need to go together. Before we're ready to do that, we are going to clean them up even more. First things first, I'm going to sort of just assembly line these guys out. I want to get the small piece in with this bigger piece. You see there at the end, I don't know if you can see with the glare, but there's still a little bit of that piece left. And so we're just using the side of a sharp X-Acto to scrape it off. Some people use sandpaper. Sandpaper is probably better. Some people use a lot of sandpaper. They'll sand it down until it's nice and smooth. I tend to skip that step because I think it looks good enough. All right, so then we're going to take these two pieces and snap them together inside of there. Click. There we go. One small piece done. All right, let's clean up all the pieces before we move on. We want to clean up this little nub here on the end because that's where it was attached to the sprue. It doesn't have to look good because it's going to end up on the inside of the robot. No one's ever going to see it. But if you leave extra plastic there, then it can affect the fit when you actually go to put the pieces together and cause it to not stick together quite as well as you might like. This gets scraped up, cleaning that. The community, the Gunpla community, likes to call these nubs. I just call it sprue. The runners, the big frames that all these individual pieces come on, are called sprues when you're casting them in plastic. The people actually manufacture them, call them sprues. The Gunpla community likes to call them runners, but I stick to sprues because that's mostly because that's what I learned first when I'm from building Warhammer models. Yeah. All right, so we've got all of those. This piece requires a sticker. So let's do that. So you can see right here, there's a little sticker icon, shows you where to put it. Number 11, we go looking for number 11. That says number 11, but that's a circle, and that's definitely not it. That's it, this number 11. Says two number 11s, one's silver, one's a sticker. We're going to carefully take this, stick it to our knife blade, right there. And very carefully lay it down on the knife the knife blade. Nope, that's too far in. It's not good. Okay, until we like really push it down, should be able to lift it up. I hope, without damaging it too much. There we go. Stick it back on the knife blade. Because believe it or not, it's easier to do that despite me just failing. That is supposed to be the easier way to do it. So hold this. Get this piece right there. Just nudge it into position with the knife blade. Then use the back of the blade to smooth it out. Then I've got this guy, a little modeler's tool. Got a piece of rubber on either end. And I just use that to smooth it out. Try to get out the bubbles and make it look good. It looks okay. I'm not gonna lie. The stickers are tricky and they don't always look good. All right, now we've got all these pieces. The trick with doing this well is to get the pieces lined up correctly, the way they are in the picture. And then it should be easy just to poke them all together. Do, 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 do. Right, that. All right, and this comes in and up and over. This pushes in here, helps lock everything in. See that? The little piece is locked in. There, that all goes together. And now, this should just fit down. I've got a circle peg here and just slots right in. And all of these kits in general are very, very well engineered. The people who make them put a lot of time, just some nub marks there, put a lot of time into figuring out how to make them fit together well so that you don't need to use glue, and the casting is very well done. So again, like you don't even need to use glue, right? So I push that right on, and it's there, it's done. That's all you need. All right, now we're going to build this upper cowl portion. Looks like we need G, C, and J. So we'll go back to the box. Here's C. C, we need 6 and 3. Got it. Here's 6. Sorry, here's 3. And 6. You don't have to get like too far away when you clip these things out, but you shouldn't put them right up next to the part. Right, there's C. Put those there. G is next. G. So we need 31, 36. And here's 36. So these blue pieces are like kind of a really hard plastic, whereas these are more rubbery. Right, there's a lot more flex to them. What was that? 36, 31. Can't lose my train of thought. And that rubbery material is one of the things that makes the model at the end of the day a little more durable, and also helps things fit together. It helps provide the compression to keep it all together. J8. There we go. That looks right. Right, so There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces cut out, clipped out. Excuse me. And we go through. Make sure we clip off all the extra sprue pieces. 1, 2, 3. One, two, yes, 3. There we go. Hopefully you're able to see this on the screen as I do it. My hands aren't getting too far in the way, although that's sort of just something that happens. It's just the nature of the beast. All right, so the clipper part's done. We've clipped off all the excess sprue. Let's see what I'm doing. Bum, bum, bum. And then next we're going to grab the hobby knife and shave things down a bit again. All right, so put all the pieces over here. Now we just go back over it and really smooth it out, getting just really small bits off of there to make sure that the fit is going to be tight and that you don't have discolored plastic sitting on there from where the clippers came off. One more. And one more. Okay, there we go. 2. And this is the thing that is just takes time, like anything else. You can try to do it fast, but if you do it fast, you might end up making mistakes. And with a plastic model that's with pieces as small as this, if you make a mistake, if you're not paying attention, you can, it's possible you can cut off a piece that you needed, and then reassembling that piece is going to be very, very difficult. It's not going to take glue all that well, especially for some of these pieces that are actually designed to come under a little bit of stress while you move them around. They have, one of the nice things about these kits is that you can pose them after they get put together. They're not locked and rigid because, again, you're not using glue, and so you can move the arms around, you can move the legs around a little bit. They're kind of just like action figures in that respect. And so there's some amount of twisting and force. Excuse me, that gets applied to them. And if you're not careful, so it's just glue ends up having a kind of a hard time sticking onto that. This little guy goes in here. It looks like a door probably for wherever the pilot cockpit is. This goes here. So you notice on here, we've got numbers. Put this part on first. Put this part on second. Put the 1 and 2. And so this, when you put it on, helps keep the other piece locked in. I think I might have, yeah, there's a piece there that needs to come off. This is one of the bits of sprue and it needed to come off. It's always better to take less off until you know that you need to do it. and try putting these things together a few times before you decide, yeah, I can just take that piece off. It'll be no problem. Because once you take it off, it's difficult to put back on. There, see, now it looks like just solid piece. And it goes on top here. Let's see, I think we need to spread out his shoulders a little bit there. There we go, very nice, fits right in. Those go together, and now, all right, now we're going to move on to probably the next 2 steps and get those done. So we need J9. We already know J is here. So we'll take that piece out. So I built maybe, well, let me just look around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 of these things. This is number 7. I've actually built more. Those are the ones I've built myself. I have built 3 or 4 with my daughter, who's like 5 or 6. And the HD kits, some of them, not all of them, can be quite good for that. I built a couple with some nieces and nephews who visited one time, basically spreading the love of Gunpla far and wide to as many people as possible. This thing still has a lot. I think this is mostly arm pieces because there's still quite a lot on here. Keeping organized is one of the important parts. So you also need G37. My daughter and I tonight actually just finished up another one. It was called an LBX Hunter. I don't know. I assume that was from one of the TV shows, one of the cartoons. But I don't actually watch Gundam cartoons. Is that wrong? I don't know. I like giant robots, and this is my giant robot therapy hour, and so that's why I'm talking about giant robots. I'm talking about Gundam kits because Gundams are giant robots. And I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to babble for as long as it takes until I'm able to, or until I feel like I'm done. I've actually had this particular kit for quite a few months. I only get a little bit of progress on it every month. And I wish I got more, but life just doesn't work out that way. And so, between work and playing BattleTech and painting miniatures and everything else, it's a lot. And so there's just not a lot of time to sit down and do this meditative practice. Because to me, it is very meditative. There's instructions. You follow the instructions. You don't have to. It's very light on problem solving. And you just go from one step to the next, putting things together. And so, at the end of it, you've got a sweet robot. That you get to play with or put on a shelf. My daughter and I'm actually going to pick out a robot. So she's going to take her robot. I'm going to take my robot, and we're going to go take them on the bus. We're going to go downtown tomorrow, over the weekend. We are going to take pictures of our robots in different places. We'll probably go to the robot store. So there's a store downtown called International Model Toys, and they sell a lot of Gundams. So we'll probably go there. I'm not going to buy anything for me, although, yeah, I'm not going to buy anything for her either. I kind of just want to go and say hi to the owner of the shop. It's unclear. It's not 100% that he'll actually be there because it's the weekend and sometimes he has other people working there. But I'll go say hi, and my daughter will get to show her robot to the robot store owner, which is where we bought it there. So I think that can be a good experience for her and fun experience for everyone else. Look at me talking about taking my kid to talk to other people and saying, yeah, it's going to be a fun experience for those other people to have to talk to my 6-year-old kid. Sure, they're going to love it. I'm sure they're going to love it. But whatever, it's all good. I'll probably take one of my robots. The robot store is just one place to go. I think the main thing I want to do, though, is bring along my camera, and a little camera, like a little tablet, kid's tablet with a camera for her, and we're going to pose the robot and put it in different places and take pictures. So it's going to be more of a photo shoot than it is robot specific. There's lots of times, actually, when we've gone downtown on photo safaris looking for dragons, and we would just take pictures of dragons when we found them. But this time it's going to be a photo instead of a photo safari, it's going to be a photo shoot. We're going to try to take some good pictures of robots. Need to make sure to bring a box so that we can keep the robots in the box, because sometimes those robots can fall apart. Pieces can fall off, and so we need to make sure we keep it protected so we don't lose anything. And then, yeah, I'm going to bring one of my robots along. I don't know which one. Maybe one of the Polypod ball guys. That could be fun. Alright, so we have this winger, those buddies go together. They drop down on top of here. This goes in on the back. Let's see, is that gonna hold together? Sometimes I'm just surprised that they even do hold together as well as they do. It just doesn't seem like they should. So we want to make sure we get this lined up. See, it gives like a guide here saying this piece this way is the front. So I just have to make sure I line that up and get it put on and set. A little neck collar piece there. Then we thread on let's see, this is how it looks like it goes. Yep. It goes right over the top of there. Got to put on his sleeves. And that goes right over the top of there. So there he is. And if we grab the legs, he slots down right in there, and a little bit of push should get him too. I don't think he's quite. Oh, there we go. Snap. Oh, snap. There. great. Put that off to the side, so that's coming along. That feels really good. I'll bet I could even put the head on, because I've got the head complete. Let's look. If I grab the head piece, and one of the big reasons for doing this is because once I get the pieces snapped together, I have to worry less about losing them. Right, they're not going to go anywhere. Oh, there it is. So what's better, like that? Spread out. Probably spread out. I think that's better. So there we go. Now the head's on. And I'll bet I could even get the shoulders on if I wanted. Let's see. Nope, looks like the shoulders snap down on top. And I think I want to get the arms done before that happens. The question becomes, no, that was okay. All right, I guess we'll start doing an arm. We'll get some ways into this. I don't know if we're going to do a whole lot more at this point, but we're going to keep plugging away. All right, now we have, oh, look at this. So if you look at this runner, look at this sprue. It's all empty except for these pieces, which we are about to pop out. Then we'll be able to get rid of it. So I'm going to just clip these out along the longer edge pieces, right? So I have them out. One. Two. Ta-da. And then this piece is done. So we're just going to take it and I'm going to toss it to the side. Don't need that. Carefully clip these junk pieces off of both of them. And that's exactly, it's always nice to kill a sprue, to get rid of one entirely. All right, looks like we need A125 and D126. So A1, and we're doing this twice according to this. So we're building up some identical pieces for each arm. And just to be efficient, we're doing both arms at the same time, although I don't know if I'm going to get those arms done. I don't know if I actually want to get the arms done tonight. Or if I just want to get partway through. I'm guessing partway through. Just because it is getting late. D1, 26. All right, here we go. Yeah, there's a certain rhythm, certain flow that you get when you do this. And like we've got here, 6 more pieces. 6 is generally about how many I like to work with at a time. It keeps the number down, so it's not hard to keep track of them. And it's difficult to also, get the pieces confused, because sometimes the pieces do end up looking very similar, especially when you're doing left and right at the same time. There can sometimes be left specific pieces and right specific pieces, like we saw with this guy's sleeves here. so left and right specific pieces, but they look very similar, and so you have to kind of like turn them around and figure out exactly which side they go on, otherwise you're going to have a hard time. Go, giant robots. Now, so pile over here, that is not cleaned. Pile over here, let me move this so you can see, cleaned. And so we're just one piece by piece, bird by bird, one thing at a time. And that's really the key, really key to life. Just one thing at a time. Man, if I can knock out this Gundam tonight, though, man, it's so tempting just to work all the way through this and get this robot done tonight, because you know, that will be the completion of a fairly long process as things go. It'll free up some space too. Like I could take all the extra pieces and store them away. I wouldn't have to keep the disparate parts. Separate. They could all be moved, or the robot would be whole at that point. So the disparate parts I wouldn't need to keep a little box full of the project. Like here, I'll show you what I mean. I've got a box here with projects in it. There's some bases over here that I'm working on for miniatures. They're primed, so they're ready to go. I've got all my little Gundam parts. I've got some miniatures, some familiars. This is a hand clawing up. There's a little gargoyle guy. There's a little knight, if you can see him. A sword. So there's some miniatures to paint. There's more miniature projects, right? So even more miniature projects. Spiders painted. That's weird. I thought I had a spider on there. Why is there a base but no spider? There should have been a blue spider somewhere. Where could he have gone? He'll turn up. Or I won't. I have lots of blue spider. Also not the end of the world. And there's this stuff. Spiders and goblins. So that's the little project box. I just made it out of extra cardboard. These things are just strips of cardboard cut to length and then bent so they have a little bit of pressure in the box just to provide dividers. Yeah. But that will mean that I'll be able, if I get this done, or when I get this done, I will be able to clean out that area of the project box and check something off my list and not have it hanging over my head anymore. It also means that I can allow myself to start thinking about the next Gundam robot that I want to start building. I'm thinking, well, I have a couple of polypod balls that are just bare plastic right now. Those need to be fixed up. And I've also got a project, a Centaur Gundam. So I'll show you that in a sec. Let me get these things finished up, and then I'll show the Centaur Gundam project. Sometimes a fingernail is just as good as a knife for cleaning up things. Yep, that just goes boop right there. Fits right in. Do the same for the other one. Sometimes it is useful to use tools. Make sure pieces snap in properly. Does that look seated the same? No. There's a little snap that should be happening. Yeah, I know the problem. I've got it upside down. Boop. That's why it's not going in there. I'm just gonna use this rubber tool to push on it, make sure it's seated. That goes in there. And then this goes on there. No. This slides in here. Now they are locked in. Blink, blink. Exactly the same piece. And that page is done. And we can flip it over. There's another couple of things that are the same step. Tell you what, I'm going to do these first and then pull out the centaur. All right, G, we need G26 twice. Move these off the mat. Here we go, G26. Yeah, look at me, I keep hitting the stand. It's sitting a little low, the thing that's holding up the camera, so keep bumping it, and I apologize for that. C1, it's just this thing right here. Both of these. And the sprue's getting empty also. So one of the things that happens with the Gundam kits also is you don't necessarily always end up using all the pieces. So you notice like this thing's arms. My guess is that there are a lot of kits that have that same internal skeleton structure. So when the company that makes these things, where's D? Yeah, D, 18 and 19. Makes these things, they plan out sprues. They make a single skeleton because that means they can have one mold and they have to do a little bit less R&D. And the armor plates sort of just bolt on, but when they do the armor plates, they also sometimes put pieces on, if they're going to be made of similar plastic, put them all on the same sprue, even though you don't necessarily use them. So there's probably a kit out there that uses very similar parts, but leaves different things on the sprue. It comes out looking different. Last but not least, E10. There we go. I'm already breaking my rule that I told you. I try to keep it down to about 6 pieces. All right, so now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. I'm going to have 10 pieces sitting there. Oh well. Such is life. Sometimes you say you do something and you break that rule in the same breath. All right. So that's okay. Now we're going to get this part done. All of these pieces go over here. And we start clipping. Clipping. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So how's everyone's week going? We're sitting here. Today's a Friday. It's a good time to sit back and reflect on the week. I feel like I got some things done, but not a lot. But that's okay. I've got the weekend to catch up, right? Certainly more sleep probably would have been the right thing to do. I think I've been cutting myself short on that. So probably pack up shop here at a certain point so that I can get a good night's sleep and keep myself from getting sick. Another week of school for my daughter, another week of first grade down. That's good. As far as like digital presence goes, the photo on my Instagram got the most. I hit a new personal best for number of likes on an Instagram post. I had some beholders up there that I painted, some beholderkin from WizKids on their Nalzur's Marvelous Miniatures line. And I painted them up and put them up online, and that got some good, I can't say responses, but it got some recognition, I guess. There were a lot of people who got a bunch of likes, and a bunch isn't still not that many in the grand scheme of things. I think I got like 45 likes, but that means at least 45 people saw it, and not all of them, are members of my family. So people saw it and they thought it was good enough that they liked it. People whose names I don't recognize, which is nice. People say, "Oh, you know what? I like that. I don't know who you are, but you did something cool." And I say back to them, "Yes, that's true. I did something cool. I think I did something kind of nice." I'm happy with how they came out. They're sort of companions. I got one of the bigger beholders from the Nalzer Marvelous Miniatures line. And those three smaller guys are friends of them. I think I still have them. Yeah, I can show those off. They're right at hand. I can just turn around. There's that guy. And some tiny little buddies. Yeah, that was last night's hobby project. Maybe 2 nights ago. I don't remember. This week's one of the hobby projects this week that I actually got wrapped up. That was nice. Now we're plugging away on this guy. The other thing was playing BattleTech last night. That was fun, although I ran into a little bit of a snag where a bunch of my mechs got blown up, and that was not fun. And so I'm probably going to reload that save. I don't think I want to I'm not going to keep going with, I lost a whole bunch of cool gear and equipment. None of my characters died, but I'm still going to reload the save. I made a major tactical blunder, and it cost me, although I still ended up coming out ahead. It's ended up being a little more expensive, I think, than I really wanted it to be. Just in terms of cool stuff that I lost. Like I lost a Gauss rifle, and as far as I know, there's only 2 of those in the game that you can get. I've got one, and I skipped getting the other because you got it through a flashpoint, and I chose a different option. So I'll never get more Gauss rifles, which is fine. But I don't want to lose the one I have. And I'm conflicted about stopping. I'm conflicted about you know, should I reload? Should I not reload? And well, let me describe the situation. So the mission began. My 4 mechs are there, and there's water. And I always like water in BattleTech because water makes your mechs operate more efficiently. You can fire your guns more often because you bleed some of the heat out that your weapons generate through the water. And so I knew kind of where I had to go, and so I figured I would swing around to the left through the water. The water was like a narrow river, and it went into this canyon. And going in, I was like, this isn't going to be great. If I've got mechs on both sides shooting down at me, that's going to kind of be bad. And sure enough, as soon as I got right into the canyon, enemy mechs showed up, and a reinforcements showed up, and I was caught between the main force of mechs that had been sent there to take on and their reinforcements. And they zipped up right to edge of the canyon, just started raining lasers and autocannons and missiles down on top of me as I sort of beat a fighting retreat away. And a few things went wrong. First of all, I shouldn't have let myself get boxed into a corner where I was going to have a hard time getting out. That was a mistake. I was attacking on the oblique, and the strategy I usually employ requires me to have some runway behind me in order to slowly retreat and damage the enemy mechs as they advance towards me. I didn't do that. I was putting myself into a spot where I couldn't do that. There's no way I was going to be able to retreat directly away from these mechs. I would have had to retreat kind of to the side, which means they would have had an easier time catching up to me and spotting me and actually being able to shoot me. And the other one was I ran into a canyon that didn't let me maneuver very much, so something went wrong, as it did. I was sort of stuck with only 2 ways to go. And lastly, as soon as I saw what had happened, I should have just bailed. I should have sprinted my mechs. Excuse me, take a drink of water. I should have sprinted my mechs straight away and gotten back to a position where I wasn't getting shot in the back, and I was able to. Now we're just lining up pieces for the next stage to make sure we've got them. I should have sprinted my mechs back and not tried to shoot, because I ended up getting shot in the back on a couple of my mechs. I just ended up taking some of the mechs just got pounded. I also just wasn't thinking, like I didn't use. There's a special ability called Vigilance that reduces the amount of damage you take. I didn't use that. That was a mistake. Kind of just everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I could have done a better job. And thinking about it, the question is like, all right, I don't want to feel like I'm cheating by reloading. But on the other hand, it's going to take me a long time to rebuild back up to the point where any lesson I would learn from this encounter can be repeated. And maybe that's good because it would sort of, I don't know, drive home the lesson. Like when the penalty for not learning the lesson is high, you tend to learn it a little bit better. But I think a much better lesson would be to try it again. I think I will get more out of it that way. And so I'm going to go try the mission again. I'm going to, how it goes? I suppose so. Try the mission again. Try seeing if I can't do better, if I can't just, because I've beaten that a similar complement of mechs in the past. So I really think it was just a few, a couple poor decisions I made. I let myself get into a bad situation, and then I didn't. I've been having a string of successes, and so I didn't treat the situation as dire as it was, and I should have just been, booking it. All right, cleaning that up a little bit. I got two little doohickeys. See, here's a little thing. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, I think that is the handle for a sword. My guess is this is the forearm. These flip out, and you can pull this off and then use it as a sword. That's my guess. All right, how much is this right arm going to take? Here. Okay, well, let's just start in on it. We need D29, D4. Let's see. D29 and D4. Here's a case where these pieces are almost exactly the same. It's usually fine because usually they have pegs and slots that these things will fit into, and it won't be a problem. E14. But you do have to just kind of be aware of what's going on. And I think my verdict is going to be that it's okay to retry. It's okay to reload and roll back to before the mission. It's cheating, but the question is what's important. Is playing that game, for me, it's important that I never cheat. Like, am I going to feel bad about my experience if I do this, or am I going to feel good? And I think what I'm trying to get out of it is just to get better at the game. And punishing myself, not necessarily a good way to get better. It's also not. There's some drama there if I just left it, and then the stream did it. But let me know if you ever see this and you have strong opinions about reloading a game after things go poorly. Obviously, if everyone, all my mechs had died, all my characters had died, and everything was ruined, I'd have to start over. I'd have to reload. There'd be no going back from that. This is a little bit of a gray area, because I could have pretty easily rebuilt. I would have lost some stuff and not been. Everything would have been quite as good before, but it's not like my game had become unplayable at that point. It just wasn't ideal. And so I think it's going to be more fun and longer if I get to keep my toys. Although I'm probably just justifying. Ultimately, I don't think it really matters. Do whatever you want. Like, I remember I had a friend. So there's a game called XCOM. You probably played it, but or at least heard of it. Especially if you're watching this channel. But there was a much older XCOM game on the PC back in the 90s. All right, let's see. Let's carefully bend this down. Oops. That's cool. Boop. All right, cool. Yeah. Let's leave it there. This piece slots up here. one of these pieces goes on here. I don't think it's that one because it's not fitting. Maybe it has to be that one because there's no other way for it to go. No, I think it's this way. No, it has to go these ways because it wouldn't fit onto anything otherwise. It slides up a little bit, and that goes there. And this goes beep, just like that. And it would appear on here. Oh, wait, that's the one. That's this guy. But this slots down into there. Beautiful. It's got a, let's see. I think this is very particular about where it is able to go. If you see that, I don't know if you can see in here where it sits. You have to be very careful and make sure everything gets lined up. Like that. All right. F7. F6. F7. All right, 6 and 7. So I'm probably justifying it too much. I'm probably talking about it too much. I'm worrying about it too much. I should just do whatever I want because ultimately it's a video game and doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter at all. So here we go. So for even the future, is this the sort of thing you like to watch? Is robot building? No. For me, it's meditative, and as long as I'm doing this, as long as I'm talking to myself, I might as well record it because it doesn't really hurt. I guess it could hurt. I could say something stupid and then run for political office someday and have someone dig through the archives of everything I said looking for ammunition, but I suppose as long as I stay out of politics, I shouldn't have too much to worry about. All right, so now this seems tricky. It goes in there, locks in. That part was easy. This goes on the outside. Yep, and locks in there. Lovely. Yeah, that's coming along. Very, very nice. Now we're going to build a hand. D1 and 2. D1, 1 and 2. Now I see. Two different hands. We're going to go with the open hand right now. D1, 2. Well, it doesn't matter. We'll build all the hands. I want to get rid of these sprues. The only way we're going to do that is by clipping off as many pieces as possible. Here's the 1. B. I don't know, his upper arm to me looks a little bit skinny. Oh, maybe it probably bulks out once I get the shoulder on. See, G10, G11. That's probably what it needs, is to get that shoulder stuck on. He'll look a lot better with his big burly shoulders. Move you off to the side here. You go live over here for now. Go right. Ooh, that skinny arm. Alright, let's build some hands. Yeah, so you see these hands don't move at all when you get into a larger scale like the MGs. The fingers start getting articulation. And on the PGs, it's even more so. The PGs, the hands are pretty big and all the individual finger joints move. So when you have them holding a weapon, you don't swap out hands. You just reshape the hand so that it's holding the weapon. But I think the scale of these guys makes, at least it's probably possible, they probably could do it, but it makes it impractical from a cost perspective. Probably from a quality perspective, my guess is that they go through a lot of hands that don't actually work and have to be either thrown away or redone. All right. What is that? More scrape on this guy, right? Yeah, found him. I'm always looking for those little nub marks, trying to get everything back to a clean state. That part of the arm didn't actually take all that long. There weren't that many pieces to do on it. It was mostly just sliding a few things on. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Might get to the arm. Yeah, you know what? Nah, it's already a little bit later than I want to go, and I still need to putter around and do a couple other things. So I think this is it for giant robot therapy hour. We're gonna finish up this arm. We're gonna get things put away to the point where, there we go. Punchy fist. And put this over here. Whoops, forgot to do that part, didn't we? It's okay. There's some extra sprue bits on here that I hadn't cleaned up. I need to do that. So just go in real careful with the knife. Clean those things up. I can't see anything else. So what hand? I don't think we want punchy hand right now. I'll just put that over in the box. We'll do open hand. Boop. There we go. Then let's find where we put the shoulders on. Let me get the shoulders out. So right arm. This is the shoulder, I think. All right. There. All right, yeah, see that bulks up the hand a little bit. All right, move this, move the arm. You can see how much sort of like you can see the angle that you can get that arm at. It's pretty good as far as like a toy goes. So it does that and all the way out as well. The hand rotates, and then if you needed to, you could flip it open and grab that beam, grab that saber handle off of his arm. All right, that's the arm. That's confusing. I'm looking at this picture right here where it's got the, looks like it's got the sabers flipped around. And it's pointed off. But I don't see how that would happen. Let's see. Sometimes they give instructions on how to make particular poses happen. Right, because like right here looks pretty cool. I'm looking at it. This thing is literally like, and this is just the angle. It's not just the angle. Like, did they? It could just be the angle that they're putting at to make it look like it's able to do that. Does that look right? No, because like if you look here, that's clearly coming straight off. And like, wait, this comes out a little bit. That can come down further. Yeah, but then it just comes, then that piece just comes off. But that's starting to get there. It's almost like it has to. I bet this either shifts out. Some piece of this shifts. Let's see where it is. Let's find it. I want to find out because that's actually pretty cool. Having that sort of back of the hand blade coming off. Destroy mode. Yeah, there's definitely like some give that's supposed to happen in here. Like this comes up. Move this guy off. All right, like just looking at this piece of the picture here. Do I have to rotate it? No. Oh, here we go. This actually explains it a little bit here. All right, so this part flips up. There we go. That unlocks. And then this slides back. And then once that happens, that probably actually after that flips into there. See? I did it. Hooray. Let's look. Where's my... Let's grab one of these beam sabers. I call them beam sabers. They're lightsabers. Let's not mince words. Call a duck a duck. There we go. I think I could probably make a whole like stream out of me just converting this thing from one mode to the other. There we go. Now I can get that cool pose. Right, make sure everything stays on. Bend the knees out, give them a stance. Move the hand up a little bit. Try to get that right the way we want it. There. That's kind of the dramatic angle. How did they do it down here? He kind of like gave it as an uppercut. So he's punching with a fist, right? Like, this is more like, behold, I have a beam saber. This should rotate, or some part of it. There we go. Yeah, I don't think that's quite what I want to go for. Not quite what I'm going for. With the effect. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yeah, I'm here. Look at this is the stream, folks. This is the show. Me playing with robots. Hope you enjoy it. Oop, don't fall over, Mr. Robot. All right, so I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna get him in the light box and take a picture. And you can check him out over on Instagram if you want. He'll be up there. See if I can get him from leaning too much. Kind of get him in an action pose. Feet forward, because that's feet forward means action. Bend the torso, feet forward, looking up a little bit. Can you do that? Can you look up a little bit? Let me get down on his. We want this more coming all across the side. Yeah, it's a little better. It's kind of what we're going for. Except for his missing arm. He's looking pretty good here. It's kind of what it is right there. Yeah, so I'm going to go get this in the light box, take a picture of it, throw it up on Instagram, and you can check it out there if you want. But in the meantime, thank you for joining me for the Giant Robot Therapy Hour, and we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good one.